Hi there, my name's Vince from mrtelephone.co.uk, and in this video today I'm going to show you how to wire up a telephone extension onto the new Master Socket NTE5C. Okay, so these work differently than the old NTE5As. Hopefully you'll know what they look like by now. So all we have to do to wire up the extension is, to begin with, we just unplug this front plate, and the terminals to wire up the extension are actually here. Now, why would you want an extension? You might want another phone in the kitchen, the lounge. If you don't want your broadband plugged into the hallway, if the Master Socket's in the hallway, you want it somewhere else, then you'll need to run another socket. Okay, now, the extension sockets, there's all different types that you can get, but these are very popular ones and these are good ones. These are called 2/3A, so 2/3A. And that's all they are. You've got your little terminals down here to punch your wires into, and your surface little back box to mount just above the skirting board. Yeah? Okay, so how do we do this? Now, we have to run it down telephone cable or Cat5e cable to get it from here to here. So in this video, I'm going to use 2 pair normal telephone cable, which is known as CW1308, but you might be running it down some Cat5e cable, yeah? Again, that is just the same as the 2 pair there, but the twists are a lot more, and also Cat5e has 2 extra pairs. But when it comes to telephone extensions, it only needs 3 wires to make it work. So by all means run Cat5e, it's good cable, but you will have wires that you won't be using. But it's still handy to run this stuff because then you can use those wires for other things in the future. For example, if you wanted a VDSL hardwired extension, so if you wanted to fit the VDSL or an ADSL faceplate to your Master Socket, and then you want to move your router to a different room, it's handy to have the other pairs to do that. The other cable you might come across is this cable here. So if you just look at that closely now, you can see that, in fact, if I put this bit of white paper here, you can see the colours more clearly. So if you have a look there, you can see that the colours are blue and orange, and then green and brown. Okay, so you might come across that cable, but as I install the wires, I'll quickly show you the different colour codes as I go through it. Right, okay, so first of all we need to strip the wires back. So what we're going to do to begin with, I'm just going to do it very rough because I'm going to use the drawstring to get down to the good wire. So right now, as you can see, by doing that, I've really damaged that wire there. In fact, it's completely broken, but it's absolutely fine because we're going to use this drawstring. So wrap it round a screwdriver and just gently pull it down the cable. And as you can see now, as we go down, it's cutting the outer sheath. So when we pull the inside wires out, they're all completely intact. So then we get rid of the outer sheath and the drawstring, we don't need that anymore. And also get rid of the wires that we damaged by roughly cutting originally to get to the drawstring. So the damage is all here where you've seen that the wire broke, so I'm going to cut below that. And now we know that this is good wire here. Okay, now on this particular version here, they give you a little cutout to put the extension wire into. So if you have a look down here, there's a little cutout there. So basically that's where your cable is going to go into. I will do another video on if all your extension wires are in the back here, how to get them out to the front. But in this video we're just going to take it the way that it's been designed to do. So if you have a look here, you've got a little cable tie bit here. So it's designed for the cable to go onto here. The wires go straight into here, so they're only going to be very short. And then the little knockout on the bottom there allows the width of the cable. So that's the way it's been designed to work. So if we have a look closely at this blue terminal is where you're going to be connecting your telephone extensions to. So if you have a look at the blue terminal, you can see it's marked up with 5, 3 and 2. So 2, 3 and 5. So that means that there's 3 holes in this little blue thing. So if I lift up the blue thing, hopefully you'll be able to see the holes. What it means is the hole on this side here will be wire number 2. The hole in the middle is for wire number 3, and the hole on the end here is for wire number 5. So we're going to be using the standard coloured code because this is standard wire that you would get in most DIY shops and most electrical places, this is the wire that you will be using. It says CW1308, and the colour code on this is blue. The blue wire with the tiny little white bits will go to terminal number 2. The orange wire with the tiny little white bits will go to terminal number 3, and the white wire with tiny blue bits will go to terminal number 5. So let's connect that up, and what I'll do is I'll then show you the colour code on the other cable. So what we need to do is we need we don't need much slack here at all. So if you close the blue thing down and imagine that the cable is going to be tied here, we only need to cut it just above the blue connector. So we've only got a tiny bit of slack on the wires. So I'm going to cut the cable roughly around here. Okay, so pinch it there. I'm going to cut the wires there. So we need very little slack on this at all. So as you can see, that's what it's going to look like. Now, the white and orange wire will not be used. And then the blue wire is going to be going to terminal 2, like I said. The orange wire is going to be to 3 in the middle. And the white wire with the little blue bits is going to be to terminal 5. So all we do is lift this connector block up here, and inside here there's 2 holes. So we need to pass the wire not just through the first hole, but the second hole as well. And then we push them through as far as they will go, and then when we clamp it down, each wire will go get forced down onto these metal V's, and it will cut the outer sheath off the wire and touch the copper on the inside on each of them. So that's the idea. You push them in here and cut them down. And if you have a look in these holes here, they're oblong. You can actually fit 2 wires in each hole. So it's designed to accept 2 wires. So I'm in this video just installing 1 extension, but you can then go put another wire on top of that, another cable on top of that, to feed 2 wires into each hole, so you can have 2 extensions going off to different rooms. Okay, so let's put these wires in here. Again, double checking that you've got the right wires in each terminal. So we've got 2 there, 3 there, 5 at the end here. And we're going to be pushing the wires in there, and we need them to go through both lots of holes. Now it is fiddly to get them through the second lot of holes. The first one's easy, but it's fiddly to get them through the second ones. But if you have a look there, you zoom in, can you see now it's gone through the first set, into the second set, and I'm pushing them right to the very end. They've gone right to the stop at the very bottom. You have to zoom right in there to see that, but there's a stop at the very bottom. Okay, so now all you have to do is, while putting a bit of pressure there, because you don't want them to fall out as you push the blue lid down, keep the pressure on there and just snap down. And if you have a look there, that's in nice and securely. Now each of those wires have made a good connection. So what we'll have to do is just get yourself a little bit of slack on the cable by pushing it up like so. So now I can put the cable tie onto the actual sheath of the wire itself, the cable sheath, because it's best to put this cable tie onto the sheath, not onto the actual wires, because you can, in theory, damage the wires by putting the cable tie onto them. Cut off the tail of the cable tie, and if you have a look there now, we don't need this wire here, that's just a spare, so just get rid of that. And if you have a look there now, that's that end done. Yeah, nice and securely in. So now you can get your front plate and just slide it back on, and as you see there, there's plenty of room there. So even if you were to use Cat 5e cabling, there would still be plenty of room there. Now, just in case you're not using this white 2-pair cable, if you were using this Cat 5e cable, then you're going to be using exactly the same colour code as what we've just used now. So you're going to be using the blue to 2, orange to 3, and white blue to 5. So even though the cable's completely different, you can see the colour code is exactly the same. So the only confusing cable is this one here. So with this one here, you're going to be using, this one here is this cable that I showed you earlier, the blue, orange, brown and green cable. So what you're going to be using is blue to 2, brown to 3 and orange to 5, and the green's not going to be used. So that's going to be going in like that. Don't get the browns and the oranges mixed up, the colour's quite similar. But if you have a look, if you zoom in there, you'll be able to see. So if you order some cable, telephone cable, and you end up getting this cable with the blue, orange, brown and green, then they're the colours that you're going to be using. Blue to 2, brown to 3 and orange to 5. So it all depends on the cable you're going to use. Now, whatever you've done this side, whatever wires you've done this side, make a note of them, and you need to then do the same on this side. So if you have a look at the socket that you're going to be installing in your bedroom or your office or your back room, wherever you're installing it, if you have a look at it, you can see that this, again, each terminal is marked up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 2 would be the middle terminal here, 3 would be this terminal, and 5 would be this terminal here. So if in this instance here we've used blue to 2, orange to 3, white, blue to 5, you would use the same here. Blue to here, orange to here, and white, blue to here. So whatever you've done on these 3 terminals, you need to mimic, copy exactly the same colour code onto here. So just to quickly wire up this side here, so that's the master socket done. Just put the lid back on it. Now we've run this all through the house. Now pretend that our socket is going into the bedroom. What we need to do is we need to make a hole. So again, if you were going to be going in through a wall, there's a knockout in the back here, but often if you're going along the skirting board, then a handy one to use is this one underneath here, or one of the side ones. There's different little, where the plastic's slightly thinner, where you can just poke a screwdriver through, or you can drill them. So in this thing I'm just going to be using a little screwdriver. Okay, and then I'm just going to force a bigger screwdriver through it to make the hole bigger. But it'd probably be best if you use a little drill for that. So now I'm going to bring the cable up into the box, like so. And again, we need to strip it back just like we did before. So I'm not going to go into detail because I've already done that. I'm just going to do it quickly. Cut away the bad wires that we've damaged as we initially got to the drawstring. And again, we use a little cable tie to put into this bit down here. Make sure you get the cable tie the right way around. If you put it in the wrong way around, it won't be able to do up. Remember, cable ties can only do up one way. If you put them in back to front, then that bit won't go into there, so they need to be able to click as you pull them tight. So what we're going to do is I'm going to terminate the wires after I put the cable tie on. So I'm just strapping the cable tie in. Remember to do the cable tie on the cable sheath again, not onto the bare wires, so you're onto the actual cable sheath there. Cut off the tail of the cable tie. And then what we want to do is, you don't have to do this too tight. You can leave a nice bit of slack. And again, we're going to be doing blue to 2 and orange to 3. And then we get our, you're going to need a punch down tool for this now. Now you've probably seen these in other videos that I've done. They can only go in one way. You don't put them in back to front. So basically the wires go into the middle of the socket and then go out this side. So we want to cut this bit off. So if we put the tool in this way, as we punch down, it will cut off the excess wire. You see the wire's now gone from there. And again, push it down nice and straight, and the excess wire gets cut off. Don't push them down at an angle because you will damage the IDC connections. You just put the tool down nice and straight. And then we use the white blue wire to number 5. And again, we have to swap the tool around this side because remember now we want to cut this bit. So this is the cutter of the tool here. This is the cutter here, this bit here. So as I push it in, you can see that these two blades come together and cut the wires. So if you're punching it in there, as it goes in there, it will cut the wire. Remember, you're going to be punching down a lot stronger than I'm doing it with my thumb. So it will cut the wire like. I'll sure if it went in there or not. Yeah, I'm not strong enough to do it with my thumb, but you get the idea. You just punch the wire in and it will cut the wire. Okay, so it's up to you what you do with this white orange one. You can just leave it loose, you can just coil it up here, because remember, it's not needed, because on the other side, the white orange is just flapping around the place, it's not doing anything. So, but what a lot of people do is they connect it up purely for neatness. So this confuses a lot of people because they see more wires connected. But if you want to connect it up, you will do it to terminal 4, but it doesn't actually do anything. But a lot of people like to do it just to make it nice and neat, like so. And then put yourself a little bit of slack in the back box, like so, because it's always nice. If you have to go in there again, if you've got it really tight, then you've got no room to work. But if you give yourself a little bit of slack, then A, you can get to the socket again, and secondly, if you do have to cut it back, you've got room to cut it back. So always leave a little bit of slack in the back box. Then you get your screws, and you just do up your socket. So it's nice and straightforward. It's exactly the same principle as the older NTE5A. So it's nice and easy to do. Now I just want to show you how you test your line if you ever have a problem. So hopefully now you will plug your phone into there, or if you wanted to move your router to here, then you would plug your microfilter into here, and then everything will work fine. If you ever have a problem, remember you've installed this here yourself, so you're now responsible for all this work. So if you ever have a problem, what you need to do is you need to come to this master socket here, and you need to slide out this front plate. And then by sliding out the front plate, you've disconnected your extension wiring from the actual socket. Even though it's all connected up, they've done it very cleverly via this bit here. If you want to know more about this socket, look at one of my previous videos about the Master Socket NTE5. But basically, this front plate bridges the gap between the bottom connections and the top connections. So now, when you unplug this part here, that gap is no longer bridged. So these bottom wires here, which connect to this blue terminal, are now not doing anything. So this is now just a dead cable. So you plug your phone into this test socket here, and if you have dial tone there and it all works fine in the test socket, you know that your extension has gone faulty. If when you plug it in here everything's dead and you're sure your phone is good, so try more than one phone, or borrow your neighbour's phone, or try your phone in your neighbour's house. If you know your phone is good and you plug it in there and it's not working, you know the fault is to do with your service provider. If the phone is working here, but it's not working here, you know that this cable's gone faulty, or this socket's gone faulty, or the wires have come loose, or it's something to do with yourself, so you need to deal with that yourself. Don't call your service provider out, otherwise you'll get a very big charge. Okay, I hope you found that video useful. And if you want things like the cable and the extension sockets and stuff, please check out my shop. That's www.mrtelephone.co.uk. If you liked the video, if you found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe for more how-to videos. Take care, bye now.